A Charles Causley poem read by Irina Geordie Slater, part of the Talking Heads. Elizabethan Sailor Song. My love is a green box tree and the scarlet hawthorn berry. Give me 5 cocky starlings on a grass-grown sea and a lute to be merry. Then shall we wander in star-strewn meadows, frosted by ancient October, where ice like iron rims the shadows, and never be sober. Oh, what is the brightness behind her eye? Oh, let me taste her sweet mouth. Begin, as under the sky we freezing lie, cold it is out, but not within. Oh, cease your singing, my darling, my swallow, and put away your brown fiddle, for the ship is a-sailing, and you cannot follow, and I have the middle.
On Launceston Castle. Winded on this blue stack of downward drifting stone, the unwashed sky a low-slung blanket thick with rain, I search the cold, unclear vernacular of clay, water and woods and rock, the primer of my day. Westward, a cardiograph of granite, Bodmin Moor, its sharp, uncertain stream knifing the valley floor. Ringdove and jackdaw rise over the Black Boy's bell, circle in jostling air the town's stopped carousel. The quarry's old wound plugged with brambles is long dry. Dark bands of ivy scale the torn school. Lichens try the building on for size. Beyond the weir, a rout of barrack-tinted homes cancels a meadow out. Down from the ribbed hill crest, combers of grasses ride. Poppy valerian bleed by the lean lakeside. Allotments in a slum of weeds and willows keep scrupulous house. I note a pinch of cows, of sheep, vociferous with paint. A flock of ploughs supplies unlocal colour, where the shut pond slowly dies. Below the morning's saw-edged scope of birches, pines, the hour is alchemised. The sun mends, it shines. This was my summer stage. Childhood and youth the play, its text a fable told when time was far away. But once I was too young, and still am too unsure, to cast a meaning from the town's hard metaphor. I cannot read between the lines of leaf and stone, for these are other eyes, and the swift light has gone. But my birthplace, the stream, rubs a wet flank, breaks free from the moored wall, escapes, unwavering, to sea.
This is a reading of the poem Immunity by Charles Causley, introduced and read by me, Mike Cooper. Immunity was written about 2 incidents in the Second World War, when Charles Causley was serving on board the destroyer HMS Eclipse in the South Atlantic and the Mediterranean. There are several terms that need to be explained to help the understanding of the poem. They're Royal Navy slang. A tickler is a cigarette. A sickbay tiffy is a medical orderly on board ship, and the quack is the ship's doctor. Pusser is the purser of the ship. Number 1 means full scale or major. Crook means ill. The hook is the anchor, and the screw is the propeller. Finally, it's worth noting that Hippocrates, the ancient Greek physician who is generally thought of as the father of medicine, lived on the island of Kos, near Crete, in the Mediterranean. Immunity. lining up with the naked sailors, the smell of Africa blown offshore. I watched the sweat run down to my ankles, borrowed a tickler from the man next door. The sick-bay tiffy looked more like a doctor. The quack was nervous, his face of bread. He might have been last in for England, the sky gone dark and the pitch turned red. "It's nothing," he said as he dipped the needle, pumped it full of jungle juice. "Don't look at the man in front, that's the secret. It's not like putting your head in a noose." We stuck out our arms. He looked at his needle, showed the usual pusser's restraint, and suddenly swallowed his oath to Hippocrates, fell on the deck in a number 1 faint. No one was issued with a jab at Freetown. No one complained of feeling crook. Malaria, yellow and blackwater fever lay down low till we pulled up the hook. Rocked on the antiseptic ocean, nobody noticed the turning screw. "This could cost a fortune," we said, "in peacetime. The sun so yellow and the sky so blue." And for the record, of Kos, a month later, where Hippocrates lived out his term, most of them died of wounds or sea water, including the doctor. None of a germ.
Hi, I'm Rose and I'm going to be reciting Serenade to a Cornish Fox by Causley for Causley Talking Heads. Serenade to a Cornish Fox. As I sailed by the churchyard, all on my wedding day, the bells in the seasick steeple leaned over the side to say, "Hurry to the harbour, sailor, fetch the parson by noon, or the fox will lie with your lover under the mask of the moon. Polish your ring, my captain, and crease your trousers well. Take your crack at the tiller, or you'll crack your wedding bell." But the sea is the Matlow's mistress, with her big blue baby eyes, and many a master's ticket has she torn in two for a prize. Many a mariner's compass she has boxed with her watery hand, as the fish jumped over the mountain and the ship sailed over the sand. Over the waltzing water, over the sober spray, my ship sailed out of harbour, all through the dancing day. Down by the springy river, down by the shrieking locks, watch love die like a doctor is the patient Mr. Fox.
Hi, I'm Kay Bonner, and I will be reciting a poem for Talking Heads. The Ballad of Charlotte Diamond by Charles Causley. "Matthew, where is Charlotte, and wherefore has she flown? For you walked out together, and now are come alone. Why do you not answer? Stand silent as a tree, your Sunday worsted stockings all muddied to the knee? Why do you mend your breastplate with a rusty needle's thread, and fall with fears and silent tears upon your single bed? Why do you sit so sadly, your face the colour of clay, and with a green gauze handkerchief wipe the sour sweat away? Has she gone to Blisland to seek an easier place, and is that why your eyes won't dry and blind your bleaching face? Take me home, cried Charlotte. I lie here in the pit, a red rock rests upon my breasts, and my naked neck is split. Her skin was soft as sable, her eyes were wide as clay, her hair was blacker than the bog that licked her life away. Her cheeks were made of honey, her throat was made of flame, where all around the razor had written its red name. As Matthew turned Plymouth about the tilting hoe, the cold and cunning constable up to him did go. I've come to take you, Matthew, unto the magistrate's door. Come quiet now, you pretty poor boy, and you must know what for. She is as pure, cried Matthew, as is the early dew. Her only stain is in the pain that round her neck I drew. She is as guiltless as the day she sprang forth from her mother. The only sin upon her skin is that she loved another. They took him off to Bodmin. They pulled the prison bell. They sent him smartly up to heaven and dropped him down to hell. All through the granite kingdom and on its travelling airs, ask which of these two lovers the most deserves your prayers. And your still heart search, stranger, that you may pause and pray for lovers who come not to bed upon their wedding day, but lie upon the moorland where stands the sacred snow above the breathing river, and the salt sea winds go.
Hi, I'm Vicky Rees-Romain, and the poem by Charles Causley that I'd like to share with you is At St Hilary. Between two Cornish seas, the spire blazes the land, the waving air, the dark stem of a Celtic cross sprouts, half grown from the shallow grass. A tomb exploded shows the bones of a young sycamore. Slant stones cram the graveyard like ships storm-bound. A wasted urn drips shards and sand. Like auguries, two seabirds lie, motionless in the squalling sky. Through rain and wind and risen snow, I come as 50 years ago, drawn by I know not what, to sound a fabled shore, unlost, unfound, where in the shadow of the sun, past, present, future wait as one. Only the breathing ash speaks true. Nothing is new, nothing is new. As the sea slinks to where I stand, between the water and the land.
Eden Rock. They are waiting for me, somewhere beyond Eden Rock. My father, 25, in the same suit of genuine Irish tweed, his terrier Jack still 2 years old and trembling at his feet. My mother, 23, in a sprigged dress drawn at the waist, ribbon in her straw hat, has spread the stiff white cloth over the grass. Her hair, the colour of wheat, takes on the light. She pours tea from a thermos, the milk straight from an old HP sauce bottle, a screw of paper for a cork, slowly sets out the same 3 plates, the tin cups painted blue. The sky whitens, as if lit by 3 suns. My mother shades her eyes and looks my way, over the drifted stream. My father spins a stone along the water, leisurely. They beckon to me from the other bank. I hear them call, "See where the stream path is. Crossing is not as hard as you might think." I had not thought that it would be like this.
Hello, I'm Emma Hatt, and I'm going to be reading Healing a Lunatic Boy by Charles Causley. Trees turned and talked to me. Tigers sang. Houses put on leaves. Water rang. Flew in, flew out, on my tongue's thread, a speech of birds from my hurt head. At my fine loin, fire and cloud kissed, rummaged the green bone beneath my wrist. I saw a sentence of fern and tear, write with loud light the mineral air. On a stopped morning the city spoke, in my rich mouth oceans broke. No more on the spun shore, I walked unfed, I drank the sweet sea, stones were bread. Then came the healer, grave as grass, his hair of water and hands of glass. I watched at his tongue, the white words eat, in death dismounted at his stabbed feet. Now river is river, and tree is tree. My house stands still as the northern sea. On my 100 of parables I heard him pray, seize my smashed world, wrap it away. Now the pebble is sour, the birds beat high, the fern is silent, the river dry. A seething summer, burned to bone, feeds at my mouth but finds a stone.
My name is Sam Fifield, and I will be reading Convoy. My Twitter is @FifieldSam. Draw the blanket of ocean over the frozen face. He lies, his eyes quarried by glittering fish, staring through the green, freezing sea glass at the northern lights. He is now a child in the land of Christmas, watching, amazed, the white tumbling bears and the diving seal. The iron wind clangs round the ice caps. The 5-pointed dog star burns over the silent sea, and the 3 ships come sailing in.
My name's Mitch Gregory, and this is the Ballad of the Bread Man. Mary stood in the kitchen, baking a loaf of bread. An angel flew in through the window. "We've a job for you," he said. God in his big gold heaven, sitting in his big blue chair, wanted a mother for his little son, and he suddenly saw you there. Mary shook and trembled. "It isn't true what they say." "Don't say that," said the angel. "The baby's on its way." Joseph was in the workshop, planing a piece of wood. "The old man's past it," the neighbours said. "That girl's been up to no good." "And who was that elegant fellow?" they said, "in the shiny gear?" The things they said about Gabriel were hardly fit to hear. Mary never answered. Mary never replied. She kept the information like the baby, safe inside. It was the election winter. They went to vote in town. When Mary found her time had come, the hotels let her down. The baby was born in an annex, next to the local pub. At midnight, a delegation turned up from the Farmers' Club. They talked about an explosion that made a hole in the sky, said they'd been sent to the Lamb and Flag to see God come down from on high. A few days later, a bishop and a 5-star general were seen, with the head of an African country in a bulletproof limousine. "We've come," they said, "with tokens for the little boy to choose." Told the tale about war and peace in the television news. After them came the soldiers, with rifle and bombs and gun, looking for enemies of the state the family had packed up and gone. And when they got back to the village, the neighbours said to a man, "That boy will never be one of us, though he does what he blessed well can." He went round to all the people, a paper crown on his head. "Here is some bread from my father. Take, eat," he said. Nobody seemed very hungry. Nobody seemed to care. Nobody saw the God in himself, quietly standing there. He finished up in the papers. He came to a very bad end. He was charged with bringing the living to life. No man was that prisoner's friend. There's only one kind of punishment to fit that kind of crime. They rigged a trial and they shot him dead. They were only just in time. They lifted the young man by the leg. They lifted him by the arm. They locked him in a cathedral in case he came to harm. They stored him, safe as water, under 7 rocks. One Sunday morning he burst out like a jack-in-the-box. Through the town he went walking. He showed them the hole in his head. "Now do you want any loaves?" he cried. "Not today," they said.